So, we need to talk. I feel like I've been lying to myself for a really long time and therefore kind of lying to you, and I don't want this to be the end, but I definitely feel like there's some things I at least need to explain. Obviously, it's been a while since I've consistently uploaded. I mean, I feel like I always have issues with consistency, to be honest. I think it's important to know why I even started this channel in the first place. About 10 years ago, which is crazy to even think about, I was looking for a creative outlet. I had just recently overcome 17 years of debilitating stage fright, which is a whole other story. That whole experience made me realize that I really wanted to perform, but I was still pretty shy and I was terrified of the thought of auditioning for things, like big things. And so I kind of thought maybe I could scratch that performance itch through making videos, and I could just play. If you've been with me for a really long time, you might know that my original channel name was Her Laughter Sings, which was a line from a musical I was in at the time that I started my channel. I guess the thought of that just felt a lot more comfortable for me. You know, the thought of sitting in my room alone making videos versus getting up in front of people and auditioning for people. Yeah, I still didn't really have the best confidence in that arena. So this felt like a really nice way to dip my toe, express myself, have a little fun, and who knows, maybe down the road it could lead somewhere. A lot of the messaging that I've received, however, from growing up and my own education has taught me that you need to be successful in something sure first, and then you can do whatever you want. And that's been a story that I've been carrying around for a long time. It's been driving forward a lot of what I've done on this channel. But you know, what is success really if you don't even really like what you're doing? And the thing is, over time, I feel like becoming a success and just building my platform in some way, shape, or form became more of the goal rather than actually expressing myself, actually being myself, and pursuing the things that I wanted to pursue. It was like this very clever form of resistance and procrastination because it felt like I had a very admirable goal that I was working towards. Oh, let me build this platform and then I can go on to do great things. But in reality, it was basically just a giant distraction. I mean, it can take years to build and grow, and obviously, I mean, after all of these years, I'm still not where I imagined I would be by now. But I think there's a reason for that. I put this huge task in front of myself to become a success, whatever that even means, to grow this platform, to grow a business, yada, 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 before I was allowed to do the things that I really care about in the performing world and the, you know, the creative arts and all that stuff. Deep down, it hasn't been working for me. I haven't been really willing to do what it actually takes to grow in this way because something wasn't aligning with me. It was like my rational brain wanted it, but my heart and soul were like, I don't think this is actually what we really want. But I had stuffed that down for such a long time that, I mean, 10 years later, I just didn't even know how I ended up focusing on all the things I've been focusing on so intently. I've touched on it a little bit, and you might have realized from some of my other videos, but I'm very multi-passionate. I love creativity, I love learning, exploring. I'm deeply curious, and I've always really struggled with that being on the internet because the internet really wants you to be this one thing, this one clear thing so that it's easy for people to say yes to you. And I've tried so hard to find my niche. Over time, I realized, well, I like making fashion type videos, styling type videos. It seems like other people are enjoying it, but I also really like to travel. So I said, okay, I'm gonna I'm gonna try blending my two biggest passions together, fashion and travel. It's still arguably a little bit of an expansive niche, maybe more broad than it should have been, but I figured, okay, this is perfect. Where is she now? It blends my two favorite things together, fashion and travel. Boom, we're good. I really tried to blend all three of my biggest passions together, but you know, where is she now? Chocolate didn't really have the same ring to it, you know. Basically, I told myself that if I was just consistent in this area for long enough, I could grow, I could get big enough, and then I could kind of pivot into these other things that I also really loved. It's not that I don't love fashion and style, but it's just that there was more that I wanted to express, but I was so terrified. I have not been able to allow myself to just peacefully explore and express and engage with all the things that I've wanted to, out of fear that it's not going to go over well and I should just do what people want to see from me, and then I can do those other things. And you know, it's this constant cycle of forcing down my creativity in the name of future creativity, but I'm beginning to realize that's just not working for me. Really, what it's just doing is keeping me paralyzed from making anything. I just haven't really felt that deeply connected with a lot of the things I've been making. I think that's kind of been obvious to me. Maybe it's been obvious to you, but I just don't really feel like that serves anybody. Authenticity, self-expression, these are all things that are deeply important to me. I just don't really feel like I've been myself in a very long time. I feel like I've always been trying to be someone else, be someone that everybody wanted me to be. I've so deeply wanted to express myself, but I kind of woke up and realized one day, I don't even really know who I am. I don't really know what the self is that I'm trying to express. I think we all kind of do this. I mean, I think it's easier to hide behind a persona or someone that you think you're supposed to be because it feels more comfortable, you know? Like, if I were to be criticized, it's kind of like, oh, okay, well, it's not that big a deal because it's not me they're criticizing, it's this other person. It's this weird mental blockage that we have, this like form of protection that our lovely little ego likes to give to us. I do want to find myself. I do want to know who I am. I mean, we're always going to be growing. We're always going to be evolving, hopefully. I just feel like I've needed to take some time to kind of return to myself. The good news is I feel like I've been doing that in a really big way. It's almost like I'm coming up from the water after so many years of drowning in this life that I didn't even want, and I'm just like, okay, wow, this is me. This is where I'm supposed to be. I almost forgot. I feel like my time and my focus has been so split between so many of these things that just don't even matter. This really hit me a little bit earlier this year when I had gone to a friend's birthday party. I was talking to this new girl. We were making friends. Of course, the dreadful question of, so what do you do, comes up. And I have always been struggling with that question because I don't really know how to answer that. I decided to kind of talk about my blog and my YouTube channel and everything, and she said, oh, so you're an influencer. I swear to you, I heard like glass breaking off in the distance. It was that moment where I realized through someone else's eyes, that didn't sit right with me. That is not what I was trying to do with these platforms, and I don't necessarily want to be known as an influencer. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it was a wake-up call for me to realize this is not, I mean, I am on a track for a life that I don't even want, and I am working so hard pumping out articles and pumping out content and, you know, making myself crazy. I'm trying to keep so many different things organized in my brain, and I don't even want any of it. I was literally, we were like on the dance floor, and I'm having an existential crisis on the dance floor, just like, yeah, don't really know what I'm doing with my life. Cool. And then just cut to me on the subway by myself at like 3 in the morning, just like, okay, this was not where I thought this night was going to end up. So introspective, but here we are. So I basically made the decision right then and there at the top of this year, you know what? I need to reprioritize. I need to just do some things for me. I need to do a lot of work. I need to figure out who I want to be. And so I have just been throwing myself into everything that I can possibly think of that even remotely interested me and you know, pulled on my heart a little bit. I've been doing pottery. I've been doing dance. I started my business. I'm just trying, desperately grasping at anything to figure out, you know, where do I lie within all of those things. And I really have to say that through this whole process, a very messy process, I am returning to myself. I'm getting more and more confident and clear about who I am, who I want to be, what my priorities are, where I plan to go, where I hope to go. So where does that leave us? The truth of the matter is, I do very, very much enjoy making videos. I still want to document my life, and I still love, you know, this community that we've built. But I do think this needs to be the end of my channel, at least in the way that it was before. I can't really promise consistency. Not that I was ever really great at consistency, to be honest, but I mean that in terms of I can't necessarily promise consistency in the types of things I'm posting and even how often I'm posting. I would like to be here. I would like to post, but I need this to be a home and a place for self-expression. I don't really want to niche down. I mean, like, oh my gosh, this finding a niche, like, can I just be the niche? Can the niche just be me? You know, I can tell you that there's certain things I really love and I would love to maybe talk about at some point. I mean, I would really love to bring you through the journey of figuring myself out, exploring these new passions and hobbies, moving into the performing arts. I would love to take you on that journey. I love health and self-development and positivity and artsy things and, you know, the seasons and all that kind of stuff. Like, there's so much that I would just love to kind of sit and chat about. I really love to vlog. I know that vlogs are not for everybody. You have to really care about that person, and, you know, I get it. You don't know me. You don't particularly care about my life. You don't have to. That's the thing. I've just felt so uninspired for the longest time, and I don't want to feel that way. I want to be inspired, and I want to be inspiring. I mean, if I'm feeling lackluster, that's not really gonna help you. Again, I want this to be kind of an exploratory, experimental space. I totally understand if that doesn't really work for you, if that's not really what you're looking for out of my channel. So I totally understand if you know, if it's time for us to kind of part ways. And if that's the case, I really appreciate you, and I'm so grateful for all the time that you have spent with me, all the support you've given me. I mean, you've helped me get to the point where I even am now. And if you do choose to stay, then I'm really excited, because I really want to share this new chapter of my life with you. I don't know what it's gonna be. I don't know where we're headed, but if you're willing to come on this journey with me, then we are all in for a ride. So anyway, thank you so much for being here. If this is our final farewell, I bid you adieu. And if this is us embarking on a new chapter together, See you on the other side.